Okay, this is part 2 of pips 1 through 10. We're going to start with the swords, and we got the RWS Centennial Edition and the Swiss 1JJ. And the book I'm going to be looking at is Tarot Deciphered, Decoding Esoteric Symbolism in Modern Tarot by Thuy Susan Chang and Iman Malin, who I love, and this book is wonderful. Definitely pick it up if you're, it's a great resource. But I do want to talk about my own interpretations of the cards, how they're the same or different. So we're going to start with the sword. So this is air. Udi's Picard, it's water, but we'll go with air. So themes and key words: will as purpose grasps, dual nature for good or evil, conquest versus defense, invoked versus natural power, free will, fixity of purpose, magic, the ideas of one world equals the reality of the next, mind as interpreter of symbols, self-directed thought. Okay, so my interpretation is off, completely different. Mine has always been sure force, sure strength. It's a very masculine card. It's a card of leadership, of a noble act. What else? Yeah, I think that sums up my sword. Okay. I love the picotille on the back. Isn't it pretty? So we got 2. I love this card. It's one of my favorites. Lord of Peace or Peace Restored. Okay, so the book says equanimity and equilibrium, restorative justice, transcendent mind states, balance of dualities, stilling the mind, fair relationships, justice is fair and balancing, acceptance of all doctrines, accommodating other perspectives, truth leading to peace, equality. To me, this was always balancing the conscious and the subconscious mind, reflecting on things. Since it's nighttime with the moon, it's more about re-examining the subconscious, the unconscious mind, and bringing it forward to help you establish truths and come to decisions. It's also a card of meditation and definitely reflection. Water reflects, the moon reflects, so that's what I get out of that. Look at this little, I love the Swiss 1JJ. It's just lovely, clean, crisp styling. 3 of Hearts, which people love this card. It's not one of my favorites, of course. Lord of Sorrow. Okay, so the book says universal sorrow, sublime melancholy, truth that leads to enlightenment, karmic coupling, contracts, love that binds, self-knowledge and commitment, love and time, realizations that can't be unrealized. So for me, it was always a card of just utter disappointment. It's raining, it's overcast, it's a heart pierced with 3 swords. It's like getting knocked down, not getting back up, or the rule of thirds, which some people believe in. You know, what is it? Deaths come in 3, things like that. You know, 3 of something, and then the cycle's over. Notice there's also like 3 clouds here. The piercing the heart, cross swords, rain. So not the nicest card to get. It is definitely a card of sorrow, of disappointment, of definitely being falling behind, and definitely not a happy card. 4 of Swords, flower. Lord of Truce, rest from strife. So the book says temporary stabilization, structure as refuge, rest from mental chaos, isolation and convalescence, laws as protection, keeping vigil, meditation. This was always for me a card of repose and reflection, because here we have sort of the child charity sort of stained glass window But think of the interior of a cathedral or a tomb. You get that feeling of a very solemn, very quiet reverence. And think, so we went from 3 swords. We have 3 swords above the person and 1 below. So you've overcome those things, those issues, those problems, those disappointments, and now you are reflecting on how can you avoid them in the future or being better prepared for them in the future. Okay, this is the Lord of Defeat, 5 of Swords. Passivity leading to surprise attack. Failure of good intentions, lack of defense, detachment, and pacifism. Winners and losers. To me, it's always been a winner or losers thing, but it's almost winning by cheating and gloating over your win, which is never a good thing. It's a card of overcoming something, but at what cost? Friends, loved ones. It's more of a smirk than a smile, and it's more like, I'm better than you. It's not the best card to get, and it's a card of warning and being beware of something, just to, yeah. And this is the Lord of Science, earned success, which I never really, Lord of Science. Innovation and ingenuity, seeking ideals, movement and working towards betterment, navigation, invention, evolution and goals, problem solving. My interpretation has always been having to do something you don't want to do and you can't look back. So does that movement and working towards betterment, navigation, maybe, definitely having to go somewhere else with your burden. But notice the burden's being carried with you, so, you know, the grass isn't always greener. Okay, now we have 7. Lord of Futility, unstable effort. Survival skills, moral ambiguity and sincerity, strategy and slyness, shrewd maneuvering, vacillation over compromise, rogues and transgressions, divided mind, resourcefulness. Resourcefulness, yes, but it's also sort of a sneakiness card. There's the tents there, and it looks like something's being stolen. So using your resources, your gift of, I don't know, stealth, and notice he's kind of tiptoeing away, tiptoe, and he can't carry everything, but he's doing what he can. He might come back, but he's not sure. What happens when you get too greedy? Well, you end up losing everything. So if he were to go back and get those other 2 swords, he might drop all of them. Someone might come out because of the clatter, and you've lost everything. So it's a risky gamble. Always an interesting card. The 8 of Swords, Lords of Interference, shortened force. Unexpected snags, need for cerebral sharpening, mental paralysis, lack of intellectual persistence, necessary untangling, obstruction and hindrance, unforeseen bad luck, finding a way, travel incidents, excessive force, small things, delays and timing issues, fate versus free will. So you're tied up, you got swords there, it's a card of oppression, and also a loss of sense. I mean, notice the blindfold, you can't move, you're standing there. So it's definitely for me a card of hope, of helplessness, feeling helpless. We call this a nightmare card. Lord of cruelty, anxiety and irreconcilable thoughts, self-castigation, separation, guilt, shame, jealousy, fear, remorse, nightmare, sleeplessness, anguish, the mind consuming itself, persecution, cutting words. Well, that's pretty spot on. Nightmare, guilt, torment, those things. And we have the lovely 10 card. Lovely is, of course, not what I would say. The Lord of Ruin. The dark before the dawn, death of one choice, expulsion from the garden, toil and trouble, too much knowledge, end of illusions, darkness and light, depression, fanaticism. So utter disappointment, the end of something and not coming back from that. So the end of a relationship, the end of a quest, a goal. It's the end. There is no coming back. It's the end. Finito. So it's gone. Okay. So we did those. Now let's move on to Pentacles. A little bit better. So Pentacles are associated with the Earth. Earth. Ace of Pentacles, roots of the powers of Earth. There we go. Let's see. Creation, embodiment, sleep and awakening, seeds, the start of something material, taking action, body and spirit, material opportunities, incipient resources, incarnation, becoming seed money. I mean, this is always a card of potential, opportunity, growth. I always think of aces as very, very general cards, just because of the way they're constructed. Generalities, overarching things, powerful cards. Two, Lord of Change, but harmonious change. Harmonious, the balance there. And here we have progressive evolution, cycles, expansion and contraction in phases, material prospects, luck versus skill, successions, divine and material, climbing, the descent are both forward motion, opposites working in tandem through time, exchanges across a distance. So here we have that sort of balance, that even that's reflected in the belting there. Balance, juggling, but being able to handle something. Oscillation. Three of Pentacles, Lord of Work, material works. Yes, this is the artistic sort of one. Evolutionary striving, building up something material, aspiration and growth, energy to create, construction and production over time, unstoppable energy, building blocks of form, cell division and multiplication, collaboration. I never got collaboration out of it. I love his garment. Look at the little hood there. This is a card of creation, but also doing an excellent job of something, admiring, stand back and admire your own work, successful completion of an artistic endeavor or something you've been cultivating. Because remember, we're dealing with Earth, Lord of Power, earthly power. Status and structure, stabilizing the practical, stagnation via solid position, the vault, fortress, the bunker, the throne, authority, responsibility, law and order. CEO, monarchs, plutocrats, accumulating wealth, avarice, covetousness, gluttony. This is sort of like hoarding money, but, almost being like obsessed with money. But also just hoarding. It could also be hoarding your talent, hoarding your. So we have sort of, if you look a little closer, you can see the mind and the body here and here, and then your firmament there. You can tell I'm an RWS fan. But yeah, you just resting on what you have, but hoarding it not for the greater good. So it's not the most positive card. That little shield there, I am. Call this the card of the lepers. Lord of worry, material trouble. So we have two destitutes. Some say they're lepers. So fear of losing power and stability, poverty, mentality, nervous stress over resources or lack thereof, playing ahead, gears grinding and millstones turning, throttling of power, renunciation, severity in financial, practical, and bodily matters, strain of inertia, sacred doubt. So this is, notice they're outside of a church, it seems, and they're in the cold, and so there may be help for them, but they are not doing so well. It's a card of illness, of loss, of a burden, and also being with other people in the same sort of, with the same issue. So it's hard to see yourself out of it. Six, Lord of Success, material success. This is a positive card because if you have too much, you give it away to charity. So it makes you a charitable person. Appreciation of beauty, enjoyment of the present moment, fecundity and wealth, harmony in practical matters, generosity and sweetness, philanthropy and humanitarianism, heaven and earth, complementary forces joined, body and soul, potential realized. So he's a pleasant man, he's giving back, giving charity, but he's also doing it in a measured amount. So he's not giving away too much, and he's keeping enough for himself. That's what the scales mean. So being charitable, but also being realistic. Reflecting on your, if you're a farmer. This is Lord of Failure, unfulfilled. Little gain from much labor, loss of motivation, endurance through blight, hard work and patience, cross and nail, low yields, crop failure, sterility, inertia. See, I don't get that at all. I mean, he's reflecting on what's there. At least he's having what he's cultivated has produced, and it looks like it's ready to harvest. So he's reflecting on his hard work and ready to harvest his hard work and recoup what he did. So the hard work and patience is what I get from this. Back to the drawing board, necessary patience and humility. Patience and humility, yes. What's more humble than growing your own and selling it or eating your own? I mean, it's a wonderful thing. It's also called the brooding gardener. I don't think he's brooding. Lord of Prudence. 8. Virtue of restraint, self-sufficient development, growth and refinement, attention to detail, craft and skill, patiently growing, making and perfecting, humility and diligence. So this is a crafty card. You make stuff, you're good at it. It's a card of specialization, so you shouldn't stretch yourself too thin. It's also a card of hard work. It may not pay off in the end. Look how many he has on hand. He hasn't really sold them or gotten rid of them. But he's doing what he enjoys, and he's good at it. 9. Lord of Gain, material gain. Self-sufficiency, ripening of the harvest. So we have grapes there. Counting blessings, comfort of hearth and home, reward of due diligence, high standards, industrious behavior, gracious living, perfectionism, and solitude. I get solitude. She has a little hooded bird there, maybe a falcon. It is a card of, you know, enjoying what you have, being thankful for what you have. Enjoying what you have and not wanting something that you don't. And there's a little snail there, little snail, which probably has some symbolism. And is it mentioned in the book? Let's see. RWS symbolism. Mentions the creeping at our feet is a tiny snail bearing his house on his back. He's a symbol of self-sufficiency, rewards, and patient effort. So it is mentioned, yeah. Well, that was good. Good eye. For me. This is Lord of Wealth. So here we have the old man and keywords. Fruition, completion, finality, accumulation, embarrassment of riches, wealth that loses meaning without usage, endowments and inheritances, legacies and family dynasties, generations. I always got a generations because the little kid there, and then amassing both good and infirmities, transitions, and thresholds. So it's also a card of the burden of the family, carrying on what has been begun, and then being burdened with or having to pick up what was left. But it's a card of good, solid background. I always think of tens as like the most, you know, of something. Family wealth, inheritance, passing on customs and things to the younger ones. So yeah, that's it. I'm done with this. I only did the pips 1 through 10, not the court cards, which are a little different in my view. But there we go. We did it. I hope everyone enjoyed my interpretations and the ones in the book. And this is the end of part 2. So thanks for watching.